Hi, Donald.
Hi.
Are you planning on running for public office?
Well, I hadn't thought of it recently, I must tell you, although, again, as Joan said, there's been a softening almost, and it's a level of popularity. It's a crazy phenomenon. I don't think so, though. I don't think I'll be running for public office.
Let me, New Yorkers, we're visiting New York here. This city is in such trouble. What would you do? If you could do anything,
Well,
how could you pull the city
I think
out?
there's so many things that the city has to do, but the main thing right now is the crime. And again, the crime in New York is not nearly as great as the crime in other cities. The difference is when somebody gets shot in the park or hurt in the park or hurt walking down the street, it becomes a national story if it's in New York. If it's in another city, and I won't use any name, but virtually any other city in the country or the world, hey, somebody was killed, somebody was shot. It gets a, I mean, I see CNN all the time with the Central Park and the Zodiac killer and this and that. And the fact is that if you look at statistics, New York has less crime than many other cities. But every time something happens, and now it's almost self-fulfilling, anytime there's a crime, it becomes a national story in New York. If there's a crime in other cities, it doesn't. So it really has hurt the city very badly. But the thing that you have to do, in my opinion, you have to have a death penalty. New York, as you know, New York State doesn't have a death penalty.
You saw all the crime that took place last night, the night before. The woman with the burning, they burned the woman. To be talking about that now, they burned this beautiful woman riding in a train. A man was arrested 72 times. 72 times, think of that. And they'll let him out again. The liberal judges will let him out again. But we're ready to go. You know, we've been moving toward Chicago. We have a governor that thinks it's wonderful that only like 7 people were killed this week. But we are moving toward doing, and we're going to, if crime gets, it's horrible what's happening in Chicago. We could make Chicago a safe city in a period of 4 weeks. In a period of 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, it would be totally safe. And the people of Chicago want us to go there. And if you look at the crime that's taken place in Chicago in the last 2 weeks, just take a look. It's on the front page of every newspaper. It's out of control. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob. He ought to invite us in, say, please make Chicago safe. We're going to lose a great city if we don't do it quickly. Make Chicago, we'll do the same thing as we did in D.C., the same thing as we did everywhere we've gone. It's become almost instantly safe. And I want to do it in Chicago. So Governor Pritzker, if you're listening, let's get your act together. Invite us in. We're going to make your place so safe. You're not going to have these crimes that are making the newspapers and the front page of every newspaper and television story, news story. Will make Chicago a safe place very quickly. I looked at the various cases, granting mercy, discovering that the terrible trauma that everyone's going through. And I had a little bit of a Pritzker joke. I was going to talk about Pritzker in size, but when I talk about Pritzker, I get angry because he's not letting us do the job. So I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke, you know. Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight, but I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it.
I'm going to vote for you.